Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Walt here from Down the Block Sports. Today, we're going to look at the number 3 overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. The third worst team in the NFL last year was the Houston Texans. They traded that pick a while back for Laramie Tunsil to the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins just traded out, and now that pick belongs to the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers gave up the number 12 overall pick in 2021, a 2022 third-round compensatory pick, and first-round picks in 2022 and 2023. This is a massive haul for the number 3 overall pick, and they're likely going to take someone who completely changes the franchise. Most of you are probably thinking right now, if you're going to give up that much, you might as well be getting a quarterback, and to be perfectly honest with you, I'd say I agree. Now, this is a pretty decent quarterback class, as most of you know. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields. There's guys in this class that can take over an NFL franchise. Again, if you're going to make this pick, you're not drafting someone unless it can completely flip the franchise. Wide receivers in this class are great, but don't flip the franchise. Offensive tackles in this class are great, but don't flip the franchise. You don't give up this many first-round picks unless you're drafting a quarterback. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through the first couple picks, look at the 49ers roster, and give you who I truly believe they should take with that number 3 overall pick. Now, when you look at the 49ers roster right now, they're positioned pretty well at a lot of positions that have depth in this class. Everyone loves the wide receivers at the top of this draft, which I would agree with you. I think this wide receiver class is loaded. But why would the 49ers trade up for a wide receiver when they have Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel already on the roster? Okay, everyone loves the tight ends in this class. Kyle Pitts is going to be a monster on day one wherever he goes. But the 49ers already have George Kittle. The offensive lineman, people love him. Penny Sewell has a chance to be a cornerstone left tackle across football. The 49ers just paid Trent Williams the number 1 offensive line contract in NFL history, making $23.01 million per season for the next 6 years. They're taking a quarterback with this pick. Now, they have Jimmy Garoppolo already on the roster, but when you look at John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, they went public doing their first press conference since they made this trade with the Miami Dolphins. And they've made it very clear that they believe Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the starting quarterback, but they made no signs that they're not going to draft a QB. Now, I think this is a brilliant move for the 49ers because when you look at a lot of young QBs when they enter the NFL, specifically in the top 10, a lot of these guys are thrown into the fire, and they're really not that successful. Really, in the last 10 years, what do we got? Cam, Andrew Luck, Patrick Mahomes. Like, those guys have been amazing, but the list of busts of guys who are just thrown into the fire way too early is through the roof. Now, if you're going to make this trade for a quarterback, as we all think is going to happen, you might as well want to position him to play when he's officially ready. You have Jimmy Garoppolo, you can play him now and get the quarterback ready, whichever one you draft, for when they're actually ready to play NFL football. Now, when I look at the top of the draft board, it's pretty obvious who they're not going to be selecting. I think number 1 overall pick is going to Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick. Great pick for the Jags. I don't know how Urban Meyer's offense is going to translate into the NFL, but at the end of the day, when you have the chance to get a true talent like Trevor Lawrence, someone who may be the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck, to enter the draft this high, I think they're doing it. Now, the real question here is, what are the Jets going to do? And they obviously have a quarterback now in Sam Darnold, who they've failed miserably. You know, they didn't give him the talent offensively. They tried with Le'Veon Bell. That was a disaster. His offensive line has been not very good. I will give them credit. Last year, they got Mekhi Becton, who was a very solid offensive tackle for them last season. But, you know, if you have the number 2 overall pick and you have the chance to get something solid in return for your young quarterback asset, you might as well do it. Now, when you look at the Jets situation right now, the Jets offensive coordinator is Mike LaFleur, who most of you 49ers fans know was the offensive coordinator in San Francisco last year. He came with Robert Saleh to New York. So a lot of people have been saying, man, I'd love if the 49ers could trade up and get Zach Wilson. Well, if Zach Wilson's perfect for the Shanahan offense, he's going to be perfect for the LaFleur offense because LaFleur was just with Shanahan. That leaves really Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Now, all of them have had their pro days recently. Everyone looks great in pro days. No one's rushing you, and you're working out in underwear, so only take that with a grain of salt. But when you have someone like Justin Fields, he's a dual threat quarterback, was a winner in college. You have Trey Lance, who has a Mahomes-level arm, not Mahomes, but he has a raw cannon, but didn't play last year. And then you have Mac Jones, who's kind of that pocket passer, not very mobile, good leader, is a health freak, is going to take care of his body. Someone who's going to be consistent, show up. I don't think Mac Jones is going to completely take over a franchise. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback, but I think Mac's done an amazing job this last year improving his draft stock to be significant. And when you look at the number 3 overall pick, when you're trading 3 first-round picks and a third-round pick to move up to this spot, I don't think Mac Jones is the guy. Even though I really, 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 really do like Mac Jones, I don't think Kyle Shanahan's doing we're going to trade everything, including from being at pick number 12 to get Jones. Because realistically, if the 49ers stayed with that number 12 pick, they could have taken him right there. Now, I can't say with full confidence that Fields and Lance would be available because I don't think they will be. I also think if someone falls in love with Mac, he could go. I don't know. I don't think Mac goes that early, but I'm not in an NFL front office. I don't really know what some of these teams are thinking. So unless the Jets make a massive mistake, and if you're not going to take Zach Wilson, trade the hell out. But when I look at this pick for the 49ers, it's clear that they want to keep Jimmy Garoppolo for at least one more year. If he's injured, they have a solid backup who can help them contend. That was one issue they had. They always had a very good roster, but when Jimmy went down, they ran into some issues. He has an injury history, which also, if you're a team trying to trade for Jimmy G, you're the 49ers well, he's a starting level quarterback. This guy was just in the Super Bowl. Well, if I'm a GM trying to trade for Jimmy, would you give up a first-round pick knowing there's a chance he can only play 10 or 11 games? Those are major concerns, especially when your quarterback goes down. We see it all the time in the NFL. Most teams, really, outside of what happened with the Philadelphia Eagles a couple of years ago, they're screwed. Their QB goes down. Everything changes. The team doesn't flow. They lose games. Whether they make it to the playoffs or not, they really don't go very far. So I think the 49ers are looking at this well, we have a very good quarterback. There's a young kid that we love. We are brutally honest in our press conferences, and they're going to go after one of these guys. Now, Lance is an interesting guy to consider here because I don't think he's ready to play in the NFL. I don't love the fact that he didn't play last year for North Dakota State. I completely respect his decision. I have no problem with people opting out due to COVID-19 concerns. A little questionable about a quarterback because of how important that position is to an NFL team. I think teams like to track your progressions on a yearly basis, and last year they have really nothing to work with outside of what he looked like in his pro day, which you can only take with a grain of salt because congratulations, you can throw the ball, 60 yards or so when no one's rushing you and you're in an environment that you're comfortable in. But I think here with the number 3 overall pick, I think if Wilson's gone at number 2, I think the move here for San Francisco is Justin Fields. Now, a lot of people don't like Fields. I know he didn't play that many games. I know the Ohio State quarterback is what everyone freaks out about. He's a guy. Look, Justin Fields is the exact mold of the type of quarterback that is trending in the NFL. He's solid in the pocket, even though he has things to work on. So does every young quarterback. He's a guy that's mobile. He can escape the pocket, throw on the run, extend plays if he needs to, and the play-action game with him as a quarterback is going to be disgusting. Now, what's Kyle Shanahan known for? Yes, he has that high-octane passing offense, receivers with speed, yards after the catch, an unbelievable tight end. But don't forget, Kyle Shanahan's one of the smartest run play design head coaches in the NFL. It seems like every single year, Shanahan is whatever team he's coaching has one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. You're in a division who has mobile quarterback. You're in a division that puts up points. They're going to put up numbers on the board regardless. Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, they got guys who could do it. He's going to have 4 or 5 running backs every single year who are going to get the job done, whether it's the same guy every week or not. Shanahan knows how to make this work. He has the speed receivers. He needs a quarterback that can get him the ball. Fields can do it. Escape the pocket. Fields can do it. I really think if Wilson's available at number 3, I think Wilson is the perfect quarterback for Kyle Shanahan's offense. Well, guess what? His OC is with the Jets. makes you think that the Jets are going to possibly go in that direction. I don't know what the Jets are going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets royally screwed this up. But if you're going to take a quarterback and your options are Fields, Lance, and Mack, I think the pick that makes the most sense here is Fields. I also don't think Fields is ready to play in day one. You have Jimmy Garoppolo, and when you look at the trade market, everyone says, what are they going to trade Jimmy Garoppolo? Trade him to the Patriots, trade him wherever. One, the Patriots don't have the cap space right now. Another trade team that they could trade for, Chicago, stupidly paid Andy Dalton way too early. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If Garoppolo was going to get traded, the trade would have already happened because you can see all over the NFL teams are preparing for the draft. And when you look at the quarterback situations for next year, the Patriots' Cam's going to be gone. Chicago want to bring them up again. They have the chance to possibly be without both of their quarterbacks. Denver is a team everyone has their eye on because Drew Lock's been extremely inconsistent. You know, which version of Drew Lock are we going to get in 2021? If it's good, they keep him. If it's not, they could explore the quarterback market. I think the quarterback market for the 49ers is way better next year, especially if Jimmy Garoppolo has a good season this year. And when you look at the 49ers offense, they have 3 nasty targets. Shanahan's going to get the job done with the running back situation. And the offensive line got way better. They just picked up Alex Mack, who's one of the better centers in the NFL. Whoever the quarterback is in San Francisco is going to be in a good position to perform. So San Francisco is in a position right now to draft their young QB, develop him into the offense, keep Jimmy G as the starter, win games now, allow him to have a good season, get a better return for what he could be for next year when there's more teams interested in a QB, and then bring the guy you have at the number 3 overall pick to take over as a starting quarterback. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch is an unbelievable duo. And you got to give them a lot of credit because one sign of leadership is not being afraid to tell the truth. They went public and said, we don't want to lose Jimmy G. They've also said public and said, not every QB as a rookie is going to be ready. When you give up all these draft picks, you're taking a quarterback. If your options are Fields, Lance, and Mack, I think the pick you go here with is Justin Fields. And when I look at the way Justin Fields plays, the ways he could make Shanahan's run game even better, plus his ability to get the ball down the field to some awesome receivers, a security blanket there in George Kittle, I think Justin Fields fits this offense absolutely perfectly. Now, a lot of people question, is Fields going to be ready? He'd have the year to develop behind Jimmy G. They have a solid backup if he gets hurt to a team that's solid pretty much all across the board. And he's going to remain protected with a very solid offensive line. Give a lot of credit to the 49ers for making a very ballsy move with this draft. Yes, their future is going to take a hit without some of those draft picks, but Shanahan's going to find some guys later in the draft. He always does. With the number 3 overall pick, if Wilson is not there, I think the 49ers should draft Justin Fields with that selection. Who do you think the 49ers should take with that pick? Feel free to comment that below. I believe they go for a quarterback. Which quarterback would you take with that selection? Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Down the Block Sports for more of my exclusive content. I can promise you guys more draft talks coming to this channel. You don't want to miss. It's got some pretty awesome guests coming on later this week as well. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon.